As you will be well aware, the internet in the past few weeks has been afire with reports of mystery drones that have been sighted by numerous witnesses, and some recorded on video. Many of the drones have been sighted in New York, New Jersey, California, Texas, Virginia, and elsewhere. The Department of Homeland Security is playing dumb, while members of Congress and former intelligence personnel have expressed frustration over the lack of clarification of the issue. Now, from what I can tell, these sightings have been some kind of human-manufactured drones, possibly of military origin, but given the lack of transparency, understandably the internet has exploded with all kinds of possible explanations. Now, while I suspect these are indeed military drones, I thought this might be a good time to share a first-hand tale regarding some rather more mysterious nightly objects I personally witnessed in Australia a few years ago. I did make a video about this over a year ago, but being one of the very first videos I made for this Power and Presence channel, the quality was, I have to admit, rather bad, so please allow me to share the story again here with the help of greater technological sophistication. But this is no mundane drone story and involves a great white orb of light, a flotilla of flying orange discs, and a woman with an uncanny ability to know when and where such strange phenomena appear at night. I promise you, this tale is 100% true. All I ask you to consider is the possibility that I'm not half mad, or totally mad, or lying. Please remember to like and subscribe if you find this story and the Power and Presence channel thought-provoking, and better still, share your UFO stories. In the comments, I promise to respond to all of them. Now, there's a short backdrop to this story that makes it even more incredible. The year was 1993, and I was living in Coffs Harbour, a small coastal town in New South Wales, Australia. One winter's day, I was walking along a downtown street, and I saw a sign that read, "Psychic readings, $10. Yep, it was the 90s. I'd never had a psychic reading before, and curiosity got the better of me. So I went inside, where I met a woman of early middle age named Leslie Halverson, later Leslie K. Williams, and she proceeded to give me a reading. The reading itself was nothing particularly special from my memory, but what followed certainly was. To cut a longer story short, I ended up attending Leslie's weekly meditation evenings at a lodge just out of town. A few weeks later, and at the end of one of her meditation sessions, Leslie told everyone present that she'd had lots of dreams about UFOs the previous night, and I quote from memory. "Last time I had these kinds of dreams, the local media was full of stories of UFOs the next day. So, if you go out tonight, you should see something. It will be about 2 in the morning." Unquote. Now, being the gullible fool that I am, I decided to take up the offer. I went to bed at 11 p.m. and set my alarm for 1:45. I know because it's in my diary. When the alarm rang on that clear but cool winter's evening, I managed to drag myself out of bed. I stumbled around my house for 5 minutes or so, and then headed outside at 1:50 a.m. sharp. Now, my eyes almost popped out of my head when I swung the door open and looked up at the starry night sky. For flying directly in my line of vision was something I will never forget till the day I die. I can only describe it as a large ball of luminous white light, about a third the size of a full moon. It's hard to estimate, but the great orb was probably several hundred meters distant, flying in a straight line and at a uniform elevation of a few hundred meters. It was moving rapidly eastwards towards the nearby beach, at about 30 degrees above the horizon. There was absolutely no sound, and it was shimmering, seemingly gliding on air. I can only describe it as eerily unearthly due to the iridescent corona about it. I ran out onto the quiet road at the front of our place and watched it disappear over the neighbours' houses. In total, it was in clear view for more than 30 seconds. Understandably, I was in a rather excitable state and ran down to the beach, which was only a few hundred metres from where I lived. I walked up and down the beach for an hour, scanning the skies, but the mysterious orb was nowhere to be seen. After about an hour, I got rather tired and decided to go back to bed. I walked back down the short street to my home and trudged up the driveway. Then, as I was about to duck under the door, I am rather tall, I looked up one last time. Once again, my eyes nearly jumped out of my head. I saw something equally as amazing as the ball of light I'd witnessed just 1 hour prior. For moving high across the night sky almost directly above where I stood was a group of about 20 red circular glowing lights or discs flying in a double V formation, one V inside the other. What you can see now on your screen is a representation I was able to make from my faithful generative AI system. In reality, there was more lights and they were higher in the sky than this, but this image will suffice. I was uncertain whether it was a flotilla of discs or a single object with orange lights underneath, though at the time it seemed more like a group of objects because it was not quite symmetrical, with there being more lights on the left side and one missing at the end on the right side. Again, there was no sound, just eerie silence. The object or objects flew in a southerly direction parallel to the coast but slightly inland. They appeared to be about 1,000 meters in the air, though once again it was difficult to determine this precisely. Within a minute, they disappeared across the horizon. Now, I've had quite a few interesting experiences since that day, but probably nothing quite so extraordinary as what I witnessed that night. Of all the things that set me on the path to questioning the dominant knowledge structures of Western society and set me on the road to exploring human intelligence and possible human futures, this experience was probably the most significant. What were those things that I saw that night? How on earth did Leslie Halverson know that they were going to be there at that precise time merely from a dream? In what ways does the possibility of that kind of extraordinary human ability change what we believe we know about the human mind and its limits? Further, why are these kinds of phenomena still largely a taboo topic in modern science and education to this day? I asked these questions 30 years ago, and I'm still asking them now. The difference today is that I now feel that I have a much deeper understanding, perhaps not so much all the precise answers, but a deeper appreciation of the problems, and in particular the reasons why our establishment, science and institutions, and the people within them, have so much difficulty in discussing such big problems. One of the themes that you will regularly see me exploring here on the Power and Presence channel is the relationship between what we believe about the human mind and the way that those beliefs limit how we use our minds, and how that in turn impacts the way we're now constructing our technologies, especially artificial intelligence. We must be careful that we don't trap ourselves in an unnecessarily restrictive mindscape by constructing virtual spaces that allow us to embody only those aspects of human intelligence that we believe in. But that would truly be an artificial intelligence. Think about that. I'm Marcus D'Anthony. See you again soon in the futures.